What a contest by Malik. What a shot by fucking Max Christie, I believe. What a fucking shot.
Yo, what up, guys? So, I'm really trying to make sense of this Luka trade. And after watching the Mavs play, honestly, this whole season without Luka, it makes more sense if they are trying to win now. And I'm going to get in why, so don't freak out yet. But the Mavs, I'm pretty sure, without looking at the numbers, they really think that Dinwiddie is a good enough player to win a championship for them. Let me clarify. This is because Kyrie goes from the number 2 option to the number 1. And when I was really thinking about this, so many of the times it's either Luka or Kyrie. They don't really work well. They work fine together, but they don't make each other better. Like Luka gets Kyrie some really clean spot up shots, and the numbers are going to show that. Kyrie's field goal percentage goes up. But if you think, what is Kyrie Irving? What does he do that is the best for him and for the team? And that's have the ball in his hand and fucking attacking. Being the number 1 handler. Being that guy. And when you have Luke on the team, that's not going to happen. Kyrie is going to be an off-ball guy. Yes, you can stagger them. But when you have Kyrie as now number 1, the ball handler, the guy, and you have Anthony Davis now, 1B, who does so much off-ball and is such a threat off-ball, you get much more value than having 2 guys who need the ball in their hands that aren't going to be, one of them is always not going to be playing their best basketball. Luka and Kyrie. And this is why I say it's a win now thing, because obviously Luka's future is so bright. One of the brightest young talents in the NBA, and the Lakers have cemented their future by that. The Mavs have basically said, our future, our franchise, we don't really care. We think we have what we need to win right now. And Kyrie Irving is going to get older, and I think they fear that Kyrie is going to become much less effective as he gets older, which I think is a fair assessment. And we have seen players like D Rose and others that are extremely athletic, constantly around the rim, transition their game to be more shooters. And Kyrie will definitely have an NBA career for a long time. But the thing is, will he be playing his best ball? And I think it's obviously no. Like, he is probably entering the very tail end of his elite NBA ball. And I think the Mavs are like, okay, we think Kyrie, as the number 1 guy, can bring us a championship with Anthony Davis as 1B. And I think that's fair. The more I've thought about it, the more I think it's really going to work. Especially with Gafford playing as well as he is. And Anthony Davis, it's going to be interesting. Jason Kidd is going to have to scheme up some very unique defenses because they will be at an agility disadvantage. However, Anthony Davis is one of the most intelligent defenders to ever play the game. Let's be completely real. And I think I did not give Anthony Davis enough credit for that. In combination with having PJ Washington, a straight up stopper 1 through 5, it's a ton of versatility. And Kyrie, he's a very crafty defender, mainly his hands. He makes people pick up the ball and fear him. And that is something to fear. Kyrie's hands are something to fear for sure on defense, on both ends, but I'm talking about defense. And without a doubt, instead of Luka playing at the 3 a lot, which the Mavs were, you're not PJ at the 3, and you have your 2 guards, whoever they are, being able to just guard guards. You know, Luka, His defense is his weak point of his game. He's not terrible. He can play good defense. He also plays a ton of bad defense. And I really am liking this Mavs team more and more. Obviously, I think they really, really got scammed. Anthony Davis, he's just an older player, and you trade away an MVP candidate for years to come, and you really didn't get that much back. Let me make sure about that. Okay, they got a single first round pick, and I don't think it's going to be that good. 2029. If Luka re-signs his deal with the Lakers, which I'm pretty sure he's going to, I don't think that pick is going to be that valuable. So, for this trade, I would say for the Mavs' future, this was really stupid. However, they don't care about the future. I'm going to be honest with you guys. They just want to win right now. And we need to shift our perspective of like overall value and stuff to right this moment for the next 2-3 seasons. How is this going to work? And I think after doing that, things are going to make more sense. And let's start getting into the numbers. So right here, what we have is teammate correlation. Honestly, the only time I've really seen this used is in DraftKings, in DFS, Daily Fantasy Sports. So this is not plus minus. This shows when one player is in, how the other players are affected. Right now I have it sorted by DraftKings points in descending order. So the people at the top benefit the most from this player being in. Alright. So at the very top, Najee benefits greatly from Luka being in the game, right? Klay Thompson benefits greatly from Luka being in. Dinwiddie surprisingly really benefits. Oliver Maxence Prosper, I'm just going to call him Prosper from now on, benefits a little bit, pretty much neutral. PJ doesn't really benefit that much, which is surprising to me. But, so DraftKings and FanDuel, you're basically, the more points you score, the better all-around game, all your stats you've had. So any positive correlation is good. Luka eats up a lot of rebounds, eats up a lot of usage. So any of these players with positive correlation pretty much shows they work well with Luka. This is what I found very interesting. Daniel Gafford barely benefits from Luka being in, which this is a pretty significant sample size right here. It's very interesting. I would expect this Gafford to be much greater. And if you see on here, Gafford, well, Lively's right there, but both of the bigs really aren't benefiting that much from Luka. And it could be because Luka eats rebounds, that's taking fantasy points away. It could be a lot of different things, but with somebody like Luka, who is such a good passer, you would think the bigs would benefit the most, but the numbers don't say that, which is very interesting. And to further express that, Jaden Hardy is basically benefiting the same from Luka being on the court as the bigs, which that's pretty shocking to me. I would not have thought that. I thought the bigs would be way up at the top. And this is what is the most telling, you guys. So right here, you see who this is? Kyrie Irving at the very bottom, completely negatively correlated with Luka. Okay? So what does that mean? That means when Luka is on the floor, Kyrie Irving is not Kyrie Irving. He does not put in Kyrie Irving stats. He is better without Luka. And surprisingly, there are only 3 teammates that are negatively correlated with Luka. Dwight Powell and Quentin Grimes, I understand. I don't even think Grimes played with Luka. I guess they did for just a few minutes. Did they? Let me look this up. Okay, I'm tripping. Apparently they played 21 games together. Somehow, don't remember that. I don't know how, because I'm a fan of Grimes. God, so much has happened this season already. My brain is already fried. But the fact that Kyrie Irving, your second best player, somebody you need to win a championship, does not work well with Luka, it just shows the fit wasn't going to work. And that is really what I wanted to say. Kyrie and Luka, that experiment did not work out. Not at all. And, I mean, the proof is in the pudding. If you watch them play, they never work together. They're always like, here's Kyrie, here's Luka. Kyrie do Kyrie things, Luka do Luka things. No synergy, no working together, no making each other better. And if you guys notice, I constantly talk about making your teammates better. That is the only way to win an NBA championship. You not only have to be your best, you have to make everybody around you your best. The level of talent in the NBA, from top down in every single roster, is at the point where you must make your teammates better, or else you're going to get beat, especially in a best of 7, especially against teams that are making each other better. So I just thought this was very interesting, and it pretty much, this is the reason why the Mavs moved on from Luka. They, number one, they didn't want to pay Luka the Supermax. Number two, he wasn't a good fit with Kyrie. And the Mavs see Kyrie as somebody who can win a championship for them now with Anthony Davis. They fully believe that, and that's why they did this trade. And they realized that if they kept Luka and Kyrie, they were going nowhere. And they're pretty much waiting for Luka just to keep developing and Kyrie to just get old. And they're not playing for anything. Because you can't have a Supermax player like Kyrie worse when your best player, Luka Doncic, is on the floor. You can't have that. It's not going to win anything. And we've seen that. You know, with Luka out, the Mavs have had so many good wins, you guys. It's insane. So, just want to go through some of these. A win over OKC. And this is without Luka. Let me make sure, because sometimes this fucks up, but I'm pretty sure this is correct. Yeah. Literally beat the Thunder without Luka. Do you know how crazy that is? Win against the Nuggets. Close game versus the Heat. Beat the Hawks. Beat the Knicks. Not going to count either of these. Beat the Suns. Beat the Lakers. Lost twice to the Nuggets. Beat the Thunder again. Beat the Thunder. They haven't lost to the Thunder this season, you guys. And there's more stats. They do have a win against the Celtics as well. Okay, hopefully this is better. I should just get StatMuse Pro. I use it so much. I should support them. But look at these great wins, you guys. 3 versus the Thunder without Luka is insane. 1 versus the Celtics. 1 versus the Rockets. At least 1 versus the Nuggets. They lost 2. It's a little concerning. But with Anthony Davis there now, I mean, that's a lot tougher for Joker. Joker has absolutely dominated and bitched at Anthony Davis in the past, so we'll see. But, yeah, I mean, there's some very promising wins here, guys. I think the Cavs were on here. Maybe I'm mistaken about that. Oh, 0-2 versus Cavs. Okay, I am very mistaken. But about this, you guys got to remember, this is missing a max player in Luka Doncic. They now have Anthony Davis with this exact same roster. Nothing has changed at all with their rotations, except they have Anthony Davis added in. This is why they did it, okay, you guys? They have all these good wins versus great teams. Some of the best teams in the league, especially versus the Thunder. Like, what is this, a third of the Thunder total losses? Yeah, literally, the Mavs have accounted for a third of the losses the Thunder have had this season. They would be 43-6 without having to play the Mavs. That is extremely impressive. And again, that is without Anthony Davis. And yes, I believe at least Chet was missing. I think Jada missed one too versus the Mavs. But still, the Thunder have been without Chet for many games, and they've still dominated. So this is where the front office is coming from. And logically, it makes sense for many ways. And now I want to go to Kyrie's plus minus. So we're going to see basically Kyrie Irving at least works okay with everybody except Clay, not really, which See, these numbers can be misleading because there's games with Luka and Kyrie and Clay, and usage is really kind of up for grabs. Clay has been playing really well, so now there's so much more usage available when players play with Kyrie alone. I do expect Clay to be positively correlated, and especially Derek Lively too. And you can see at the bottom, Luka. He doesn't work well with Kyrie either, and let me see. I hope they're not the exact same numbers. Okay, they're the exact same numbers, which makes sense. But they don't work well with each other. And that's really the reason why, guys. So, the Mavs have all these good wins without Luka. And now, with the same roster that has all these good wins, they add Anthony Davis. Did they trade away their future and a generational talent that they aren't going to be able to get back? Probably like 1,000,000 to 1 odds. They're not going to be able to draft another Luka, especially number 3, or they're going to be picking much later now. They're not going to. And they decided winning now is more important than that. And they've decided this roster is good enough to win an NBA championship right now. Will that come to be true or not? Only time will tell. But I think with Anthony Davis healthy, they are a very scary team. Even without Anthony Davis, they are a very good team. Coach Kidd is, dude, he is really, really doing excellently. A top 5 coach, I would say. I need to make my coaching tier list soon. But everything he does, I'm all for it now. He was a little rough when he first got there, which makes sense. Especially with how the NBA was changing with replay and stuff. He had some rough years. A rough 2 years to start. But he's been one of the best in the league since then. And I've been greatly impressed because he has improved. And the fact he is getting so much out of players like Gafford, Dinwiddie, Najee always had the potential, but even Najee, he is playing his best ball. He's getting to his spots, and he is not scared to shoot. Quentin Grimes looks excellent. Is he still on the Mavs, guys? I don't think he is. I need to look. Okay, he is. I don't know how I forgot that. I'm a big fan of Grimes. But I think he's a great young player, and he's been improving. We have seen Max Christie come in and be a completely different player. I'm going to include a shot he made right now, you guys, from the Kings game. One of the most cold shots you are going to see in your entire life. Yeah, he's like that.
What a contest by Malik. What a shot by fucking Max Christie, I believe. What a fucking shot. That is cold, Max Christie. That is fucking cold. That is one of the toughest shots I've seen ever made.
And his defense has... I don't know what happened, but he went from like a little bit shaky defender, kind of like the Lakers' best option for perimeter defense, to being an absolute stopper on the Mavs. Like, he was locking people up. Don't ask me. I'm also a big fan of Jaden Hardy. If you guys don't know this young man's game, you should go look up some of his highlights. He is a fucking bucket. On everything, he is a bucket. Prosper has looked so good. Shockingly. Because I had never heard of this young man, and he has been balling. And one more person I want to highlight. Kessler Edwards, yep. Former Nets player, athletic freak. And he looks like he has finally found his groove. And I think playing with Jason Kidd is probably, for Jason Kidd, is one of the best things for him. He looks great. And he, like I said, an athletic freak. He is going to be able to come in and play good defense, get you solid rebounds. They have a lot of championship pieces here. And Exum, excellent backup point guard. Dinwiddie has always impressed me. I really thought it was weird. He never got a bigger contract and was constantly moved. I think he is one of the best backup point guards in the NBA that can come in at any time and start for you and keep you in the game. There are very few people that can do that. And he's shown he's not scared of the big moments either. He will take clutch shots and he will make them. And Clay, Clay, again, the only thing Klay was doing wrong with his last year or so at the Warriors was he was still taking shots like he was pre-injury Klay. And these shots are like S tier hard, the hardest shots you can ever take in basketball. And now he's brought that down. He's taking good shots. He's using his shot fake so much better, and people bite on it because they have to. It's Klay Thompson, and he's creating very good shots for himself. This Mavs team is scary, and we'll see. My one worry for them is playing an older Anthony Davis at the 4, because I'm in my Mavs video. I went through and just looked at all the competitors in the West and the East and how they would do versus this new Mavs team. And there's so many athletic 4s now. I think Anthony Davis is going to have trouble some nights. You need Gafford and Anthony Davis both getting 30 minutes a night, minimum. So they are going to have to play together. What zones or defensive schemes can Jason Kidd create to make that work? That is, I think, going to be the main question I have for the Mavs. And I think it's one that can be answered, especially considering how great Anthony Davis is. Off the top of my head, you guys, I've done a video on the Heat zone, but it's a 1-3-1 basically. And I think this could work well for the Mavs. You have Gafford just sitting in the paint as the one. Let me paint this up. Okay, so this is what I believe a zone that could be very interesting for the Mavs. Basically, Gafford he's going to have a zone somewhat like this, okay? And he does not leave this at all. Completely restricted here. Next, the rest of your players, so you're going to have a point guard, probably Kyrie, probably Dinwiddie, and then PJ. So, I think what you're going to do is do something like this, and then like this, okay? So, imagine 3 is going to be confined to here, 2 is going to be confined to here, and 1 is going to be confined to there. Anthony Davis now, this is where I have always thought Anthony Davis is the best in the world, being in a position like this. As in a 2-1-2, being the athletic guy that can go anywhere he wants, okay? So, with this zone as well, people will easily be able to beat this if you just stay completely confined to this. So, let's say they overload 3, alright? Let's say they put 3 people here. Opponents. Let me choose a good color. Okay, so they put 2 shooters here, and they bring the guy with the ball here, and they run a pick and roll with their 5 that goes like this. There's a pretty easy way to beat this zone, right? So, what you have to allow, rotation. That guy goes here, that guy goes here, and AD can do whatever he wants. So, AD is basically going to be here. He's going to guard the pick and pop in the mid-range, and then he's going to hand off to Gafford and get back out here, or go wherever he's needed to go to cover the open guy. But the interior of this defense, pretty much AD and Gafford are going to be responsible for everything. And again, people are going to have to rotate, and it gets really complicated. You have to trust all your players. Your players have to be constantly thinking if you do something like this. However, if you do this and you allow Anthony Davis to free roam on defense, this probably would be the scariest defense in the NBA. Gafford is the best rim protector in the NBA right now. You might say, what? Wemby gets all these blocks. Blocks are not everything. Wemby, he has a long way to go. And it's just how it is. The NBA is a different beast than anything Wemby has ever experienced, and he's still a young player. He still has a ton to learn. Gafford has been learning that for years. He has years and years and years of experience like that. And he is the best rim protector in the league right now. He is a big reason the Mavs have had the success they have. And when you add Anthony Davis, probably since he entered the league, the scariest defender in the league. Just because he is the rare combination of quickness, size, and intelligence. He knows how to play NBA basketball. And I said in my Mavs video, there used to be a time where going against Anthony Davis instilled fear into other players. You know, you weren't going to do certain things. And I feel like if they give Anthony Davis the ability to free roam in something like this, that's going to be really scary. And honestly, this defense right here, this might be the best way to stop Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who I previously thought was unstoppable. But doing something like this, Shai really wants to do his damage, like within here. Let me get a different color. Alright, what? Come on now. So Shai, he really wants to be in here. And he really does most of his damage, like, close to the rim. If he's ever anywhere in this, you're very scared. When you have Gafford and AD potentially doing that, and when you can, if Shai gets stopped right here, and you can box him in with the length of Gafford and AD, so he can't just pass out, and you have other people lurking, just waiting, like safeties in the NFL, for that pass because they know it's going to come. That's really scary, you guys. Really scary. And this is a very hard defense to play. This would be the most complex defense in the NBA. And considering this is probably going to be Kyrie, PJ, and Dinwiddie, all very intelligent players, I think it's possible. I really do. It's going to take communication. It's going to take a lot of trial and error, especially with these guys out here. Because as much as these two, Gafford and AD, are going to be the reason for doing this and going to benefit the most, these guys on the perimeter are going to have the most on them because people are going to be constantly trying to attack the perimeter, constantly trying to overload zones. But yeah, in conclusion, this trade is, if we consider just the present, this makes a lot of sense for the Mavs. The Mavs believe in Kyrie. They didn't want to pay Luka the Supermax. That's really what it is. And they have proven they can win big games against great opponents without Luka. So why not? Why not make your team better without Luka? Why not add a generational player like Anthony Davis? The only other caveat I want to mention is now Kyrie and AD are 1A and 1B. Is that a little bit scary? You tell me, guys, because we've seen Anthony Davis be the guy with the Pelicans for what, a season or two without DeMarcus Cousins, where he was truly the guy. And he put up great numbers, but if I recall, they did not win much. Kyrie. Has Kyrie ever been able to really be a contender without being the second option? Let's say it for what it is. I don't think so, you know? Could he be? Yes, 100%. And Kyrie and AD are so much better of a fit and just a basketball team than Luka and Kyrie. It's not even you can't argue that Luka and Kyrie are better than Kyrie and AD. You can't. So when you think about this and you think about just winning now, this Mavs trade makes a lot of sense. And I'm very excited. And I really think, okay, my main complaint to the Mavs, why the fuck did you jackasses say it's because conditioning and availability concerns? That's just a straight up lie and you know it. Anybody who knows NBA basketball or sports in general knows that is just straight up a lie. Because Anthony Davis, we've already seen his availability be worse than Luka's since the trade. Okay, you guys? That's just been Anthony Davis. And they should have just said, we don't want to play the Supermax, and Kyrie and Luka did not work out. But guess what? That admits fault on them, and they don't want to admit fault. And that is what bothers me the most about this whole trade thing. I think, after thinking about more, it makes a lot of sense that the Mavs would make this trade. Should they have got more comp and picks? 100,000,000%. Only getting a single first round pick and doing this trade is insane. And especially a 2029 when Luka is probably still going to be a Laker. Bro. Just a failure on the GM side. You had to get more comp for this. But it is what it is. The Mavs got better from this Luka Doncic trade. So, as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. If you like this content, please subscribe. Trying to get to 1K subs. You won't hear me say anything else about subs after 1K, alright? Most importantly, thank you so much for all the kind comments. Thank you so much for giving me a chance. And yeah, I read every single comment now. Seriously, anything you have to say that is actually, I don't care. I don't care what you have to say, if it's good or bad about me or what I think. Just say it. If you watched this far, you've watched the video already, I hope. So I will 100% respond to you and consider anything you've said as 100% legitimate and give you my actual response. To me, I think both teams won out on this trade, aside from the Mavericks' future. And you have to leverage the future for the present sometimes, and that's what the Mavericks did. They should have got at least another first round pick, in my opinion. Probably should have got 3 first rounds. Like, if De'Aaron Fox got returned 3 first round picks and LaVine, well, I think LaVine is a horrible contract. I think LaVine is a bad player and a losing player. Anthony Davis is the opposite of that, pretty much. Anthony Davis is a winning player and makes this team better. The Kings got worse in every way from the LaVine trade, so it makes sense they got 3 first round picks. At the same time, the Mavs could have negotiated better for sure. But yeah, let me know what y'all think. Take care, guys.